Well, thank you for joining me for another iTWire video with top international executives. I have with me Jim Kizielewicz. He is the Senior Vice President and Chief Marketing Officer of Kronos. Welcome to the program.
Thanks, Alex, and nice pronunciation on that name.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, well, I did a little bit of practicing, and I mean, I've got a funny surname myself, so I always like to get it right if I can, after having my surname butchered for years and years. So, look, please tell us, what does Kronos do, and what are you here in Australia to launch?
Sure. So we're the world leader in workforce management software. Really keep that simple. We're all about helping organizations schedule their employees, keep track of their hours, both when they're at work and things like their vacation and holiday pay. You know, everything from bill and time to projects or accounts. Summarize all that information up, feed it off to HR and payroll so people can get paid properly.
And it's all in the cloud, accessed by mobile devices?
Absolutely. We started as an on-prem customer over 30 years ago.
Long time.
Long time.
Jurassic era in IT space.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And have really gone through multiple transitions, as you can imagine. Today we've got about over 30,000 customers worldwide, over 35 million employees use the system every day, and we're on a major move to migrate to the cloud. 75–80% of the business that comes in today is all in the cloud.
And when did you open in Australia?
We've been in Australia for let's see, close to 17 years now.
Wow.
Yeah, we're about 40 million turnover in Australia. We're about 100 employees here. So it's a nice market for us. So
what's the new program that you've launched this week?
Sure. So the reason I'm here this week is we're introducing a new product called Workforce Ready. This is a product that we started selling in the US about 3 years ago. We've been methodically moving it from one geography to another. We opened up Canada, Mexico, as you'd expect, to branch out from the US. Last year we opened the UK, Belgium, and Netherlands, and we brought the product here to Australia.
And so, and this was a product that had already been around for a number of years?
Yeah, so this was a product we acquired for, let me back up, it's for small and medium-sized businesses. What we found is that you know, these organizations have similar complexities to large organizations, but in some ways they're a little handicapped. They typically don't have IT staffs to put systems in and run projects. Capital is very tight. So this is a completely SaaS-based offering where they can run it in our cloud, get constant updates every 8 to 10 weeks. Really focus on time to live in terms of getting it installed.
And this product also does payroll?
No, the product doesn't. The product does payroll in the U.S., but here in Australia, we're really going to be partnering with various payroll providers, folks like Northgate Arinzo and ADP and Frontier, to help package our solution with theirs and really have an overall go-to-market.
So who are some of your big customers worldwide and in Australia?
Sure. So, globally, folks like General Electric, Apple Computer, DHL. Here in Australia, we've got Coles, Woolworths, Ramsey Healthcare, Cochlear Corporation. Really the who's who of large organizations. We're in about 112 countries, deployed in 112 countries across the world.
And I think you said you had a physical presence in about 20.
Yeah, we have a physical presence in about 20 of those, that's right.
And so who are some of the other partners you have here in Australia?
Sure, so in addition to the ones I mentioned, the Frontiers and Northgates, ADPs, we also partner with a number of systems integrators, Presence of IT, is an excellent partner for us here. We partner with them on a lot of SAP relationships, and then Ernst & Young, for example, helps us do change management. So it's really a mix of service bureaus and SIs.
And what were some of the things that you had to do to get workflow or workforce ready to actually be ready for the Australian market? Because there's so many different geographical differences in labour laws and all that sorts of things.
Exactly. So the interesting thing was we have about 600 customers here in Australia. So that was a big advantage. The first thing we did is we started with our own internal implementation teams and support staff, and we said, all right, let's look at this product and make sure it does everything it needs to do. And the good news is 90% of what we needed was already built into the product, so we felt good about that. There's about 10% gaps we had to close around awards. There were some special situations here that we had to build in. And then rostering is a really big usage here, scheduling workers in healthcare environments, retail environments, where demand fluctuates. So we had to put some special work rules and some workflows in around the schedule. We're really confident and ready to go with the product.
And rostering, for example, is something that was much more Australian, where in the US you have a lot more contracting, for example.
That's right, yeah. The rostering in the US is really, tends to be concentrated to environments where there's a variable workforce. Think a retail store, customers flow in at different times of the day. Healthcare organization, patients, flow in at different times.
So if a potential customer comes up to you and says, why would I choose Kronos over your competitors, what would you tell them?
Yeah, what I would tell them is, I think more than anybody else, we can really do the best job in terms of really calculating their labor costs correctly, applying all of the rules. We get constant feedback that the UI of the application is outstanding. Today everyone wants this business software to really perform like commercial software.
And to be intuitive.
That's right, to be totally intuitive. So we invest a ton of money in that. We spend $100 million a year in R&D. We're $1 billion company.
I mean, nothing comes with manuals anymore or help screens.
Manuals, when was the last time you opened a manual? Right?
Yeah, well,
you want to fire the thing up. You want it to be intuitive. You want to know what to do. So that is a constant area of focus for us. So we think when people take the time to look and really look at the depth that we offer, along with the intuitiveness of the application, that really distinguishes it. And we have thousands of customers, tens of thousands that are happy using the system.
And so, what was the other? I mean, you clearly had a lot of work to do on awards and the rostering, but why did it take 3 years to come to Australia? You just were focusing on other areas first, or?
Yeah, no. So I think that the heart of it is over the years, we're $1 billion company. Over the years, what has happened is we kind of gravitated toward larger organizations and selling larger multinational enterprises. We had this shift up market, if you will. And a few years ago, we said, you know what, let's really go back and look at the small and medium enterprises and see how we're performing there, see what that market potential is like.
Because it's obviously a huge market.
It was a huge market for us. So it was just a matter of, it can't be everywhere first. We wanted to make sure the product worked at home and build out our service capacity to get this installed. And today we've got 11,000 users on the application, so that's 80% of which have really come on board in the last 3 years. So we're experiencing tremendous growth. We really wanted to get that under control before we took it too far away from the other side of the world.
Sure. Yeah, no, it makes sense. Now, I was at a Ashton Kutcher event with Lenovo last week, and he was talking about always liking to be asked intelligent questions. And one of the things he said that's always a good question to ask is, what is the best advice that you've ever received to get where you are today? So I thought I'd ask you that question.
Sure. I think it's probably don't read your own headlines. Being a marketing guy, I tend to write a lot of headlines. And I do that for all the obvious reasons, but I think at the end of the day, you got to come in and really take an inventory of how you're doing, how the company's doing, what you need to do better. Because I think when you start to read your own headlines, it's really easy to fail at your job. You see a lot of companies go down.
I mean, so what you're saying is, do eat your own dog food, but don't read your own headlines.
That's right. Exactly. Keep it,
keep it real.
Keep it real. Exactly. Yeah. Just don't get too full of yourself, and just keep plugging away.
Now, Ashton Kutcher is also an investor in many different companies, and he's talking about how he likes to talk to the founders of different companies because he's investing in the people.
Sure.
And this is it's a sort of a question without notice, but he liked to ask, what was that person's high school hustle? What was the hack in earlier life to make life easier for themselves or their friends?
Let's see. Okay,
maybe
question. This I don't know what it's going to say about me morally, but I had a after high school job where I used to sweep the floors and clean up. It used to take me an hour and a half, and I would earn, I think it was $2 an hour. Was what I would do. It helped give me some spending money, and I realized after doing it for a few years that I could subcontract that out for $1 an hour.
That's very clever.
I did. I contracted it out and made $1 an hour without actually doing anything. But I think that was my introduction to maybe how to improve my margins a little bit.
Sure. Now, going back to Kronos and workforce, what will the market, whether it's Australia or globally, look like in 12 months? And then shifting gears, what will, with the crystal ball, what will it look like in 5 to 10 years?
Sure. So I'd answer that a couple of ways. I think this market had historically been an on-premise application market. It's amazing at the pace at which it's moved to the cloud. Organizations are just saying, you know what, you as a manufacturer, the software can run this much better than I don't want to deal with upgrades, I want to be on the current version, all the things that cloud computing delivers. So we're seeing that just happen at light speed.
Exponentially.
Yeah, exponentially. Yeah. So I think 3 or 4 or 5 years from now, everything's going to be deployed in the cloud. As is the case with a lot of business software. I think the big thing you're going to see, though, as that happens, you're going to get access to all kinds of new data. Once we have this data stored in the cloud, we'll be able to do some comparative benchmarks across other companies. We're already seeing a lot of large organizations come to us and say, hey, I want you to look at my labor costs. I want you to look at how I'm performing across my divisions, or across my operating units, to help me run those better. I think that's just going to get deeper and stronger over time.
And so, do you have any final messages for iTWire readers and viewers, and also for your current and potential customers?
Sure. I'd just like to leave you with this. Maybe give us a shot. Kronos.com. We try to have a lot of information on that. We've been at this a long time. As I said, we don't read our headlines. We just try to take care of our customers and do a good job. So, if you're interested in the market for this kind of thing, we'd love an opportunity to talk with you.
Okay, Jim. Thank you very much.
Okay. Thanks, Alice. Appreciate it.